There is the unmistakable voice of Bonnie Tyler, who turned 60 today. Happy birthday to her. Hopefully her birthday's not a heartache. Hopefully she's having some fun today. We never let the birthday of a beautiful woman pass without taking note. It's a heartache, Bonnie Tyler.
It ain't right with love to share when you find he doesn't care for you. It ain't wise to
A little bit of heartache yesterday for Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. Andy Hetzel is with us, the Vice President of Corporate Communications here in our American Metal Roofs studio in the Gillespie Group Stadium District building. Nice to see you in person.
Good to see you in person.
Explain to me what happened yesterday. You've got some legal wranglings, and it has to do with the cost of health care. You're trying to keep the cost down, and it seems like the court isn't quite agreeing with you.
Sure. Well, just a little bit of a setback, not a big one. So yesterday in federal court in Detroit, the judge in the antitrust case that the U.S. Justice Department has filed against Blue Cross ruled that the case should proceed. We had moved to dismiss the case on a couple grounds that I won't get into because they're complicated. But essentially what she said was, let's start the process of going to court. So let's start discovery, let's start the trial, let's move forward. And we've been preparing for that. So it was just a little bit of a setback. But really what the case deals with is Blue Cross's ability to negotiate contract provisions that guarantee our members in Michigan, 4.3 million people that we cover in the state, the lowest prices when they go to the hospital for services. So what Blue Cross does on behalf of our customers and members is goes out and negotiates with hospitals. And what we bring to the hospitals is a tremendous amount of patient volume. So we have 4.3 million people in the state. We'd say to the hospitals, we're going to bring you a huge amount of volume. Give us the best pricing that you can give. This is the same type of activity that goes on at Costco or in the automotive sector for large part suppliers. It's the same type of thing. So we want the lowest prices. It's our way of helping to keep healthcare affordable for people. And in 2009, we delivered $13 billion in savings in 1 year through those types of discounts that are negotiated with providers in Michigan.
So what's wrong with that?
Well, what the Justice Department says is that it's unfair to our competition. What we say is that if you take a look at what other industries do, including federal government procurement, the federal government negotiates contracts with suppliers because of their purchasing power, because of their volume, that guarantee them the lowest prices. That's the same practice that Blue Cross employs in Michigan, and we're the biggest, and we should be able to leverage that to deliver savings to Michigan, to consumers in the state. So that's our position.
Well, not to dumb it down, but I mean, if you're going to go see a movie and you take the whole 8th grade class and you go to the manager and say, I'm going to bring 80 kids, can I get a group rate? No problem.
That's
They're
right.
happy to have you.
It's the group rate, and it's a 4.3 million member group.
Okay, well, that made it very simple. What happens next?
Well, as I explained, the next step is to go into the discovery phase. Unfortunately, what's happening is it's going to be really long and really expensive. When you employ lots of attorneys to go over reams and reams of paper and evidence and do the diligence that's necessary to prepare for trial, it costs a lot of money. So what this lawsuit is doing is it's dragging Blue Cross into a very costly, long, and arduous process of proving in court what we think and what we know is right in other industries and in our own in other parts of the country. What we're doing is we're trying to deliver the best possible savings for consumers of healthcare in Michigan, keep healthcare as affordable as possible, and again, $13 billion a year is what we're delivering, and that's significant when you take a look at the cost of healthcare.
Are there other blues programs across the country facing the same trouble?
Not yet. The Justice Department has said that they want to take a look at other blues plans. I personally don't know why they're just focusing on Blue Cross plans. But we're concerned about Michigan healthcare at Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan. What we want to do is we want to have every tool in the toolbox available to us. So if we can go to a hospital and fairly negotiate reimbursement, so the hospital gets a little bit of a margin on the top, and Blue Cross gets significant savings at the retail level on services provided in the hospital.
Everybody wins.
Everybody wins, and that's what we're trying to do. It's part of our mission, Michael Patrick, our statutory mission, to try to keep health care as reasonably priced as possible across the state.
And available to every single person.
Yes, sir.
All right. Thank you very much for stopping by. Good luck here at the Capitol today.
Thanks for hosting me today.
Andy Hetzel, Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan, the Vice President of Corporate Communications. Mike Bishop spoke a couple of years ago about the idea of getting rid of the helmet law in Michigan. He was the Senate Majority Leader at the time. Here's a bit of that audio.
We have, on prior occasions had time to discuss various issues that have an impact on premiums in the state. Presently, we're engaged in a work group, and you participate in that. One of the issues that was raised had to do with credit scoring and how that we can show a correlation between credit scores and a person's risk level. And also, we've also drawn the correlation between what would happen, or you're able to map out what would happen in the event we can no longer use credit scores anymore, and the impact that'll have on ratepayers across the state. In fact, from what I can understand, about 60% of the ratepayers out there will pay more without the use of credit scores. Using this type of analysis, what would happen? Is there an impact on an analogous type of impact on ratepayers across the state with regard to helmet repeal?
Well, that's a good question, because the access to the Claims Association is limited, and that's really what we're talking about here. Now, there's certainly going to be an impact on care for those individuals, depending upon where it's taken care of.
Complicated matter that we will display for you in just a couple of minutes right here on the sidewalk in front of us. A proposal to allow some motorcycle riders to go without a helmet has been approved by a Michigan Senate committee. That measure, approved by the Transportation Committee, would allow you to go helmetless if you're 21 years or older. This has been a fight that's been going on. It was vetoed by Governor Granholm in 2006 and 2008, and may be approved by Governor Snyder if it gets to his desk. The civil disobedience will happen in just a minute when Amanda Wall and a couple of motorcycle riders go helmetless right here on television, right here on the radio, right here in front of our American Metal Roof studio.